This was the first time Cliff and Cassie met. Cliff was driving his boss home when he first saw Cassie sitting in the car, holding a jar of pickles. They exchanged smiles, flashed 2 fingers at each other in greeting, and then went their separate ways. Their second encounter happened when Cassie was hitchhiking by the side of the road. Cliff happened to be driving down the same street and caught a glimpse of her as he turned around. They smiled at each other again and used simple hand signs to ask about each other's direction. Unfortunately, fate had other plans. They were heading in completely opposite directions. Cassie playfully showed her frustration with a cheeky expression. The two waved each other goodbye with gestures again and went off in different directions. Sometimes, fate just doesn't play fair. One day, Cliff was aimlessly driving around when he spotted Cassie once again waiting by the roadside. At the same time, Cassie saw Cliff and shouted out to him excitedly, once again using hand signs to ask where he was headed. When she found out they were finally going in the same direction, Cassie jumped with joy. They looked at each other across the intersection as she danced with excitement while Cliff quietly watched her from inside the car. But the red light lasted much longer than they expected. Cassie turned back and sat down at the roadside, waiting for Cliff to drive over. After 2 missed connections, the two finally had a proper, real meeting.
Hello, hot stuff.
Looks like 3rd time's a charm.
How are those pickles?
Real good.
Where are you going?
I'm going to Chatsworth.
That's where you're going, Spawn Movie Ranch. Well, why are you going there?
I live there.
Well, hop in, I'll take you there.
Great!
Cliff remembered he had an old friend living at the ranch, so he decided to give Cassie a lift. With his permission, Cassie happily got into the car. On the way, they chatted like old friends, introducing themselves and learning about each other. They went from talking about acting to films, and from films to life. Cliff found himself liking this carefree hippie girl, and Cassie began warming up to this calm and steady older guy. But then Cassie suddenly dropped a bombshell that nearly made the usually composed Cliff lose control.
Want me to stump your cock while driving?